All right, I wasn't as quick this time. I was actually finishing editing up a stream and everything, so you guys should go check out my clips and everything and go look at all that other stuff. Subscribe, yeah, all that stuff. But yeah, another trade just took place, and I want to make sure I'm giving time to all these little moves that are taking place because these are going to have an effect on the season. But in essence, Xavier Tillman is being traded to the Celtics for 2 second-round picks, going back to the Grizzlies. Looks like a 2027 second from Atlanta and a 2030 second-round pick to Dallas. Now, I'm not going to pretend that like we can have some sort of real in-depth insight as to like what those picks are and everything and value to the Grizzlies and everything. But at the end of the day, the Grizzlies are getting rid of a player, in essence, is on an expiring contract, right? Probably a guy that they weren't necessarily looking to bring back next year. The Grizzlies have made it pretty clear that they're opening up their salary as much as possible for this offseason and everything. Xavier Tillman's not like necessarily an elite player by any means, so they're like, yeah, the chances that he comes back, not that high, right? So they get rid of him in expiring contract. They get 2 seconds for him, so some future assets maybe that go into another move. Good for the Grizzlies, right? Let's talk about what this means for the Celtics, though. So the Celtics are getting another big, which was something that they had made clear that they wanted to do. Whether or not he plays over Luke Cornett is kind of that backup center role. Like Al Horford, like come playoff time, will be kind of that backup big, but they're trying to establish a deeper bench, right? And I just don't think Luke Cornett was really the answer for that. Whereas you get Xavier Tillman, he's played a lot of minutes this year. He's a real big body, 6'8", 245. Right, he's more than capable of actually stepping out and playing a little bit of defense, which is kind of interesting to see. Like he's not necessarily like a rim protector at all, but he can kind of switch around, which is good for what the Celtics do. We're looking at just like their roster right here as well, and you see like they don't really have like a ton of like natural power forwards. Like Jason Tatum obviously plays there and everything, but this allows them to maybe, if they wanted to do like a bigger lineup where maybe a Horford or a Porzingis is in at a 4 or something like that, they could go with Xavier Tillman. Some of the things that Xavier Tillman does pretty well is he is a strong rebounder and he's very physical. He gets up on the rim a lot quicker than you'd think too. Like he's not like a run, jump, and dunk kind of guy, but he's really good from the dunker spot, taking that ball from right there and just getting right up under the rim and punching it home. So I think those are all things that are going to serve the Celtics well, because there's like 8 guys on this team you just have to watch like at all times. So if you just kind of have a guy roaming the dunker spot ready to pounce up and go get that ball, I think that's a good move for them. And like, let's be honest, they're not giving up anything all that crazy to get him. Some areas of concern for Tillman, obviously, are like, obviously he isn't that big, so he can't be a rim defender, and he's not really skilled enough to play the 4. So, like, is he really a rotation player come the playoffs? Probably not. This is more of a depth move, right? Especially since, like, he's not a great free throw shooter, too, and you have to imagine that a decent amount of shots would come from there come playoff time, because teams are going to see the scouting report and be like, hey, just knock him down or whatever, knock him out the sky so that he just has to go to the free throw line. We can live from that. What is he shooting from the free throw line this year? He's shooting 41% on about 1 attempt a game. So yeah, let that be what it is. But yeah, again, this is just a depth move for the Celtics, right? They wanted to have another NBA quality big on their roster just in case. Obviously, we don't hope anybody goes down or anything, but I do like this move. You're not giving up much to get him. You're not paying much to get him or whatever. I'm sure they've been kind of looking around the association saying, hey, where can we get better and everything, and this is where they found it. I'm not gonna lie, I actually like Neemias Queta a lot personally. Like that's a guy that I would love to work with and try to develop. He's on a 2-way deal, so I think it would have been interesting just to see them convert him to like a full-time contract or something like that, because he is a little bit bigger as well, and he can kind of jump and play at the rim and everything, which isn't necessarily something that the Celtics really have. Like Porzingis can do that, but we don't really want Porzingis barreling towards the rim and everything. He's more of the pick and pop kind of guy, and if he does cut towards the rim, then great. So I don't know. I think Queta served kind of a different purpose, but Xavier Tillman's going to give him a real physical force and everything, and it's like what we said. It's a quality NBA player that's been in the league for a little bit, that he's not going to mess too many things up if you put him in. I wouldn't be surprised if you're Memphis, that you're probably going to be making other moves, right? Like, I don't know what else they're really looking to do at this point, because, like, they can't necessarily make any moves to take on more salary or anything. I don't think they're going to move Marcus Smart. They already cleared up some salary in trading Adams for Oladipo, who will be an expiring contract, right? So I don't see them taking on any more money to like acquire a pick or something like that, because they don't really care. Honestly, they just need to have some players that can play right now. I don't know if you guys saw, they were down to like 8 players, and most of them that put on that jersey like that morning in essence. So I don't know. The Grizzlies are in a rough spot. They're probably the worst team in basketball right now. But I would be surprised if they didn't make any more moves after this, probably to try and clear up more cap space or something. I just pulled up some of the contracts here and everything. Like maybe a Luke Kennard is kind of an expendable player at this point that you could try to get rid of. He is making a decent amount of money. I don't know who exactly you trade him to. But he's a guy that can maybe get moved in a trade to help facilitate something in maybe like a 3-team or something. Maybe you push him to Charlotte along with some of those like second round picks or something, and they say, okay, fair enough. Yeah, no, for that, we'll take on his money for the rest of the year, right? So maybe that's a potential move. I'm sure a lot of people are calling Charlotte right now and being like, hey, take our contracts, take our contracts, take our contracts, right? And I don't know if there's another team actively doing that in the NBA right now, not clearly at least. Like that's what OKC was doing for the past couple of years to get all those draft picks, and Houston was doing it a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. That'll be an interesting one. Otherwise, Zaire Williams is the only other one because he hasn't proven to necessarily be a capable rotation guy yet. Actually, John Conchar is the other one I could see getting moved. I like John Conchar a lot, and I think a lot of contenders would like him too. Kind of an undersized wing, if you will, but he can handle the ball a little bit. Like that sounds like I'm just describing a guard, but I think he plays more of like a forward and everything. So I actually have a lot of experience watching John Conchar and going against John Conchar from my college days and everything. But I really like his game a lot, and I actually think if he would have gotten moved to the Celtics, that would have been a really nice pickup for them. It's just kind of an extra wing that could play some defense, facilitate within the offense. But no, I'll be curious to see what else Memphis does within kind of these next 36 hours. But yeah, y'all let me know, man. Y'all let me know. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, y'all. Make sure you subscribe and everything. Y'all have heard enough of that, and more videos to come as more trades come in. Thanks, y'all. Bye.